Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 618 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show, we'll be hearing from Jodie Kidd about getting confident before we get back behind the wheel. As a racing driver, she knows a thing or two about that. It could be many months since you last driven a car, so we'll have a word or two on that one. Corey Jones lets us know what it's going to be like being back out on the road when he heads across the country with Jungle Book on tour in a few weeks' time. All outdoor events. We will be hearing from Henery about the Communities Against Racism Enterprise event on the 4th of May. There's a Zoom fundraiser and bring some brilliant poetry to your screens. We'll be hearing from David Lazarus about his latest music and the gigs he's been doing around Perth, Western Australia. Skye Stuart joins us for a bit of a chat about the work of Black Country Fusion and also about the weekly mental health awareness walk that she goes on. And Paul Ryder from LGBT Spark will be letting us know about their talk this week and also how he's a coronavirus COVID-19 vaccination community champion. That's all on the way on the show this week. Someone who is very familiar to our area is Corey Jones. He may be at home over in Wales at the moment, but he will be heading out back across the UK with some fantastic gigs in the not too distant future. And he joins me now for a chat. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all good here. I trust everything's going well with you. I know you've had a very busy time doing an awful lot of teaching over the last 12 months, and this is something you could dip in and out of around theatrical work anyway. But you've got some fantastic stuff lined up for the not too distant future.
Yeah, so super busy with the teaching. My degree students are currently, we've just started rehearsals for Legally Blonde the musical, which is our big end of year production. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I finish that, I'm diving off around the UK again, touring with Immersion Theatre, doing Jungle Book.
So that should be good fun. And what part do you play in that?
So I'm playing Shere Khan. I get to play the villain this time, which is very exciting.
So is this the reason for the facial hair at the moment? You're starting to build up to a sort of villainous look?
Yeah, trying something a bit new, you know.
You know what's interesting? When you were Peter Pan last time we saw you in the area, when you were over at Stafford Gatehouse, and obviously the boy that never grew up certainly didn't have any shaving issues.
No, and that's the thing, you know, I've wanted to play a villain for quite a while, but I've always looked, you know, that young Peter Pan, Pinocchio, you know, those kind of roles I've been playing recently. So it's quite nice now that I'm growing up a little bit. You know, don't tell the kids, but Peter Pan did actually grow up.
No doubt you'll be in the green lycra before the next year is out at the very least. You'll be doing that again in Panto somewhere, I'm sure. But it must be really good fun doing something like Jungle Book, though, because it's an amazing story and means so much to many millions of people. And the chance to bring that to life on stage must be good fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited, actually. So it's the same company, Immersion Theatre, that I've worked with a couple of times. And the first time I played Peter Pan was on this kind of schedule, the outdoor tour, open air tour. So I've done the kind of job, but yeah, the show itself. Ironically, it was the very first show I auditioned for them for, fresh out of drama school, for Mowgli, and got down to the final two, and then didn't get it. Came back, obviously, the next time around for Peter Pan. Mm-hmm. So it's quite nice coming full circle, but in a little bit more grown-up way this time. And
this means the costume's a little warmer as well.
Yes, we had the promo shoot. I went for a promo shoot a few weeks ago, and it's going to be a little bit warmer than Peter Pan's costume.
So when it comes down to a gig like this, obviously great to be back out there, and the fact it was already going to be outdoors means that it was already ready for the environment we find ourselves in at the moment. So what sort of stuff can we expect in the show? Do you get a few musical numbers?
Of course. I've seen a version of the script. It's still not quite finalised, but I've seen a version of it, and I know I've got a fantastic villain duet with a very good friend of mine who is also coming to join us on the road. Natalie Harmon, she's playing Car the Snake, so I know we've got a fabulous villains duet at some point in the show.
And you get to enjoy the song, even though you have technically got to not like the characters there. And I have to admit, I've not seen the film, so I don't know how it ends. I've not read the book, because clearly Jungle Book will have been a book at some point. Was it Mr. Kipling who was involved in all of that? No spoilers for me, but it must be a good role to play.
getting to sort of really embody that hatred for humanity, which the tiger Shere Khan does, I can relate to.
And with the lockdown hair as well. I mean, you've already got a full mane, which you could even be a lion with what you're wearing. But
hey, this is freshly trimmed. I'll have you know.
Okay, I'll believe you. Thousands wouldn't. But how do you bring, being standard fella in his 20s from Wales to being a tiger from halfway across the world?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's that hatred for humanity that Shere Khan really sort of does have. And especially of a morning, I can really relate to that hatred for people.
So you're channeling morning Corey.
Morning Corey every time.
Yeah, that's the one. So what else have we got as well? Because you've got a solo gig coming up, which is going to be, again, you showing your talents across the UK?
Well, yes. So one of the first panto jobs I did was at Hertford Theatre. Fantastic job. Rapunzel was that year. Made some really, really great friends. Now, Hertford Theatre is a lovely venue. And they are undergoing a renovation. So even though they've been closed, as all theatres have because of the pandemic, this has already been booked in. So they, what the team have done, they're bringing back a load of panto cast members, to do so on one day, on the 30th of May, Sunday the 30th of May, we've got 2 shows, and it's called Celebrating Hertford Theatre. So it's a load of musical numbers, just joyously celebrating theatre before they close for the big old renovation.
And you do like a musical number, don't you?
Oh, just the odd one or two.
Yeah, it's you get to show off, and you enjoy showing off.
Me showing off? No.
So that's all said. Is there any plans for panto yet this year, or is that still hanging in the balance a little bit?
I mean, excuse me. Not on my end, not for me. There were talks of it obviously last year, but with everything so up in the air, as they have been, given the pandemic and stuff, I've got no plans for panto personally. Yeah,
it could change. Anything could happen, couldn't it? Really.
It could, yes.
And panto is one of those things that, although there's an awful lot of prep that goes into it, I mean, the cast normally get a script probably in October, rehearsals in November, and on stage December into January. So it is a fast turnaround, and it's sometimes it's script in the ad libs that can take the time, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, panto is one of those fast-paced, environments anyway. So. I think if anyone can, cope with this pandemic and the complications it's thrown up, it's us performers, especially those who are used to doing panto and stuff, because it's the climate that we're used to anyway. That uncertainty, that fast-paced nature, that thinking on your feet, problem solving as you go.
Well, there'll be many, many more gigs in the not-too-distant future. We know that. You will be working hard. There's no stopping you, to be fair. So where do we go to find out about all what you're doing? Because you'll be sharing links for all the bookings for the likes of the Jungle Book Tour, etc.
Yes, correct. So Jungle Book will be out on the road from July, various venues all around the UK, and you can find out more information with dates and venues at immersiontheatre.co.uk. And for Celebrating Hertford Theatre, that is hertfordtheatre.co.uk, and that's Sunday the 30th of May.
And your socials?
My socials, Corey M. Jones, that's Corey with an E, C-O-R-E-Y, M. Jones on Insta, and same thing, Corey, Core, no E, 24. So C-O-R-E-Y, C-O-R 24 on Twitter.
Okay, simple as that. Check it out, see what he's up to, and see what happens to that hair as he continues through the next few. Because it'll change based on the job he's doing. That's the thing. You never really get your own look for much of the time, do you? It's been really weird the last 12 months being you.
I'm a piece of putty, what can I say? Mould me how you like.
Yeah, make him into a Pinocchio or a tiger or anything, and you're there, you're ready for it. Corey, absolutely. Always good to catch up with you. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you out the road in the next few weeks and months.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Jason.
David Lazarus is basically a constant music-making machine. He's been out and about performing across Perth, and he's got some brand new stuff out there. And he joins me now to tell me what's going on. Hello.
Hey, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. Good to catch up with you. It's been about 12 months since we last had a proper natter, I think. And you've been doing all sorts of gigs all over the place. Australia is obviously in one of the better places to be in the world when it comes to the current coronavirus restrictions. You're not suffering from community spread of the disease at the minute, which is brilliant news. And it means that you've probably got a slightly freer life than the rest of the world at the moment.
Oh, man, we are so lucky, so blessed to be in a place where we can essentially sort of be normal, and so lucky here in Perth. Like you say, 12 months ago, that's crazy. For a moment, it seems like it was a couple months ago, but it's a year ago now. And we had a period where obviously everything was a bit crazy during that March, April, May beginning few months, but Australia sort of got it under control really well, specifically our state, WA, and we pretty much closed off our borders to the rest of the country, and we ended up pretty much getting rid of COVID. We never had it there was no cases for, I think it's about 10 months, there was no cases, and then all of a sudden there was one that happened and we went into a lockdown for a short period, and then we were out of it pretty quickly. So lucky enough, we've been sort of living in a little bubble where we've been able to, keep doing life normally.
Mm-hmm.
And now the rest of the country has started opening up, and it's just, very, very grateful to be in Australia. That's for sure.
To tell you, following your Facebook timeline has made me very envious of the gigs that you've been not only performing but going to. And I mean, what's it been like? Because I mean, the appetite for music over there is just as insatiable as ever. And this means you've been putting some new stuff out.
Yeah, so I put out a new song towards the end of last year, and I'm now working on some new stuff at the moment. I'm hoping to put out, hoping the next few months before the end of the year. But right now I've been focusing on writing and really just playing a lot. Here in Perth, I haven't been able to really leave Perth up to this point because our borders have been shut. So I've been making the most of playing all around Perth, and sort of enjoying being back home, which I haven't really done for quite some time. So it's actually proven to me quite a lovely time, which I probably wouldn't have done otherwise or had the reason to in the past. So it's been great, actually.
And so obviously you've been able to hang out with the family, which has been vitally important. And you have quite a large extended family as well. And is everybody back home? I know you've got your own place, but is everyone around?
Yeah, I mean, not quite. So my family's a little bit spread out. I do have a lovely big family. I got 5 sisters. So they are, unfortunately, they are a little bit spread out. So I've got 3 that live on the east coast of Australia in Melbourne, and then I've got one that lives in America. So I've got one little sister that is still in Perth. So that's been super nice. But yeah, sadly, my sister in America, haven't managed to see her for nearly, it's coming up to a year and a half now, and I've got a little niece that I haven't even met yet, as well as my nephews over there. So that's definitely been the challenging part, is not being able to have the whole family here and not being able to see them. But lucky enough that the borders for the East Coast recently lifted. So had some family visit recently, which was really nice. So more family than I had when I was out in the world touring. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking to have you back on tour. It would be great when spring, because you've not done the UK yet, have you?
I've actually, I went probably about 10 years ago. I came for a visit. And I played a couple of small gigs in Camden. Is that
right? Then in London, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was very. I was just there to really visit was there with some friends and went to visit my cousins, and then kind of managed to organize a couple of small gigs. But I've never done the UK properly, so definitely when the world opens up, it's on the cards for sure.
Actually, it'd be brilliant to have you along, and certainly get a chance to actually hear you play live. I know when we did a show from Australia, you actually performed live for me then, and you've performed live for us over the internet as well. But if we're going to take a listen to some of your music at the minute, I mean, what is it that, I mean, I'm not going to say pushing, but what is there out there that is the new stuff and what the people need to be getting their hands on? Because your work is awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So the newest song I put out is called Over Now. It's Over Now. And it's a song which it was the core of it came from the end of a beautiful time that I had, and it was the end of a relationship, and sort of realizing that sometimes it's when it's time to, you don't want to let something go, but you know it's the right thing to do. And that song kind of really, it's quite a vulnerable tune, and it's about sort of accepting the end of something beautiful. And you know, when I wrote the song, it was very much about a personal relationship, but it became quite, you know, the time that I released it, it had been during the COVID time, so 6 months after it all started for me anyway, and my world changed quite a lot, and sort of had a realization that that side, that part of my life that I was doing, traveling and touring around and different countries and everything, you know, it had a period, it was over. And although it's hopefully will come back in a few years' time, and I will be able to keep doing that again, to the extent that I was, it took on a different meaning for me, that song, because it actually sort of became about how I was feeling about life at the time, and not only that. And I feel like a lot of people maybe could have related to that, you know, whatever they might have been involved with, whether it was relationship, whether it was a business, or whether it was whatever thing that how life was affected for them by COVID. Some people had to accept that, all right, that's a chapter which I have to close, and I have to move on. And that's really what the song's all about.
Your music's often, can be heard quite clearly coming from the heart. And I think that's, again, part of the magic of your work. Having bought albums by you in real record shops and everything whilst I've been down in, it's Fremantle, I think, is where I picked up your album when I was over in Perth a fair few years ago now, and introduced me to your music, and loving it ever since. We'll take a listen to the single now. Meanwhile, give us all the details on the socials where people can be very envious of your current lifestyle.
So I'm probably most active on Instagram. So it's at David Lazarus Music 1. And then, you can find me on Facebook and on Spotify, just David Lazarus.
Simple as that. Check it out. Read the stuff. Chilled. Enjoy his work. Well, David, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. We'll take a listen to that track now, as I say, and we look forward to more coming from you very soon. And you've promised now you're going to do a tour of the UK, so we expect that. Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Cheers. Speak to you soon. Try for now.
Cheers, mate.
I told myself I'm not broken, but it's 3 a.m, so clear you're not around. Thought I was your hero, now I'm less than zero, as I lay on this cold ground. 'Cause I just wanna feel you one more time, but you've made it clear you're not coming around. So I lay awake hoping you change your mind and come back to me, but it's over now. I know it's over now. I told myself it's still open, but it's been days since we've spoken, and it's easier to stay in denial. Till I stare at my phone, 'cause maybe I missed your call, but I know it's all in my mind. Because I just wanna feel you one more time, but you've made it clear you're not coming around. So I lay awake hoping you change your mind and come back to me, but it's over now. I know it's over now. feel you one more time. You've made it clear you're not coming around. So I lay awake hoping you change your mind. You come back to me, but it's over now. I know it's over now. It's over now. I know it's over now.
As they approach the first anniversary of their creation, Communities Against Racism Enterprise will be celebrating with a fantastic day of poetry. The event itself features Ian Henery, who joins me now for a chat. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. Pleasure to join you once again.
Always good to talk to you. Thank you for popping along. And this event on the 4th of May is going to feature more work from your latest book and sharing it with a group of very like-minded people, all of whom wish to make sure this world is a better place.
Absolutely. It's a Wolverhampton-based initiative formed up of over 20 professionals from Wolverhampton who care deeply about their city and communities affected by racism. It's a poetry fundraiser.
So raising cash, which is a great thing, for an excellent cause, and it's all about getting the right community message across and basically having a conversation surrounding race and reiterating the fact that we are one race, we're one people, and we should all be coming together.
Absolutely. They have a motto: one blood, one people, one race. And we're all one race, the human race. Mm-hmm. And we all bleed the same colour.
Yeah, absolutely. We are, should be working together and not against each other, particularly in these difficult times. And when this began back in July of last year, we had no idea some of the things that we would continue to see happening around the world. And with all the campaigns that have been sadly so essential, particularly over the last 12 months, to continue us going in the right direction, because no one's saying things aren't better than they have been, but things are still not right.
Absolutely. And poetry is a great way to soothe souls and minds that have been wounded by racism and bringing people together.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to seeing, obviously, those in the community who are part of a majority group are less likely to feel separated out because of the colour of their skin, and everybody should strive to be part of a world where this makes no difference. We should never judge people based on something as simple as appearance.
I agree totally, Jason. Racism is something that's taught to people growing up, and anti-racism and to love our neighbour and to love our fellow human beings is something that can also be taught.
Yeah, and it's the whole situation, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure it doesn't to you. And the fact that a stand needs to be taken against it is so good to see so many people coming together to do it. So what is the fundraising going towards? How will this help?
Well, the organisation, it's a voluntary organisation, CARE, Communities Against Racism Enterprise. It's a Wolverhampton initiative. The founder is Ruth Lynn South from Wolverhampton. And as I say, there's over 20 professionals who are volunteering their time looking at things such as policing in the community and human rights. And on the night, on the 4th of May, there's going to be a fundraiser for myself, reading poems from my book, Poems of Hope, published by Cateshill Press, as well as music by a guy called Maurice Malcolm, who's a criminal justice lawyer from Wolverhampton, and he has an organisation called Poetry in Motion. There's going to be a music recording artist called Joe Linton, also from Wolverhampton. And on the night, while people are listening in on Zoom, and it's completely free. We'll be doing a community poem as well. And people, if they feel inspired by listening to the music and the talks and the workshops, we're just asking them to send in one line of poetry, which we can then knit together to be a tapestry, a unique piece of work from the Wolverhampton community about communities affected by racism.
Two prongs really. One, fundraising. Two, getting a message across. And although many of the people who will be at the event you were preaching to the converted, actually the fact this conversation is happening it is part of a bigger community-wide initiative, and this is where we can start to make a difference. If people hear these conversations, realise the views they may be holding for crazy reasons are wrong, then hopefully we can start to get a better community feel. And Wolverhampton is a vibrant, shared, multicultural community, and so many times, 95% of the time, I'm hoping that it all comes across in the right way. But whatever percentages, whether it's 5, 10, 20, 50% of the time, somebody feels that they are not being treated appropriately and their race is taken into consideration, which of course it never should be, then those things have to be changed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I love Wolverhampton, and I can't speak highly enough of Wolverhampton. It's our city. It's just our city in the Black Country.
So give us all the details on the event, how it's all happening, because obviously on the 4th of May we're still under various lockdown conditions.
Yeah, it takes part on the 4th of May at 7 o'clock. It's Zoom, it's completely free. If people want to be part of the audience or support it anyway, I'll give you the number. It's Ruth Lynn South's number. She's the chair of CARE. It's 0784 322 8004. That number again, 0784 322 8004. And if people want to send an email, it's info@communities-against-racism.com. That email address again, info@communities-against-racism.com.
So a group of people all getting together with a fantastic message behind it. We are one people. Let's make sure that we act as such and we don't allow those who, for whatever reason, have got a very misguided situation in their heads to derail a great community and something which works so well together across the city.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
Ian Henery, always good to speak to you. Thank you again for joining us.
You too. Take care, mate. Thank you.
As we begin to head back out on the roads and as testing centres open up so people can get their licences once more, there are a few concerns. The most concerned age group are age 16 through 24. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Jodie Kidd, racing driver, car fanatic, and all-round good egg. Hello.
Hello, my lovely. How are you?
I'm all right. How is your world?
Very good. The sun is shining, and it's just like we're coming to the end of this really horrible kind of experience is the only way I can really describe it.
Yeah, fingers crossed we keep on our roads out of lockdown. But as we get back on the real roads as well, obviously that's got some concerns. And I have to admit, as somebody who's had to go out and drive because of essential working throughout the whole of the pandemic, I've seen a change in the way some of the drivers are behaving now they're back on the roads. And obviously it is something we need to think about and being confident when we do get back behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And so I've been working with Co-op Insurance, and they did this research, which has been really actually quite surprising, that almost half of all women out there are very, very anxious to get back on the roads. A lot of 64% of 16 to 24-year-olds are also incredibly anxious, and they're the most anxious about getting back out there. And as we said, we're going back to work, roads are opening up, we're now allowed to see our elderly relatives soon, and you're going to have to get back in that car. And I can kind of get it. We've spent a whole year in, a lot of us staring at the same four walls, and the anxiety of getting back out there is very nerve-wracking. And I suppose that's where that I just want to reiterate to basically to people that are nervous that maybe doing some really, excuse me for a minute, hang on. Put a frog in my throat. I got it. that maybe doing, if you've got a big journey next week or something that you have to do, then get in your car. Maybe do a little shorter route that's more familiar to you. Just build on that confidence. I think is a really important thing. Then another massively important thing is cars are not meant to sit on driveways or in the road for months on end and not be used. So make sure you look after it, and the car needs probably some maintenance. It needs some oil checks, it needs some windscreen wiper fluid, it needs all of these tires checked, because you don't want to get out onto the road, then have a problem, and then that just fuels to the anxiety. So just make sure you're really, really prepared. And it's just, I suppose, really important just to build those confidence levels back up, and just do it in small steps rather than waiting for the big day where it's like, just get out and do a little practice runs.
Yeah, because I mean, this on top of that, you got things like having maybe baby on board, and that adds to the level of stress and concern that you might have, and baby might never have been in the car before.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of women. I'm sure we're probably going to have a lot more babies in cars in the next 6 months or year. So yes, it is a very nervous time. I remember when I had Indy in the car for the first time, and you're like, you've got this little precious thing, and a lot of drivers. This is also another thing that I want to put across is, that it's time for more confident drivers to be more conscious and to be kinder on the roads. And it's you've got to start thinking of other people we've all gone through this horrendous experience, but that's taken a lot of confidence away. It's given us a good bashing. Our anxiety levels are going to be high, so it's a very important time to be really conscious, and to be able to be looking after people on the road rather than constantly it's just you to get to A and B and you're late. And just really, really pay attention to other people and be kind. It's a time to be kind and look after everyone.
Absolutely, because if somebody isn't feeling confident themselves, they may try and build it back up, but if that's still there and they have to make an essential journey, they have to make that essential journey. And they don't need somebody driving up the bumper because they're doing the speed limit and somebody else feels they should be going quicker. And they certainly don't need to have any of those anxieties made worse by other drivers around them not behaving properly. Make allowances for other people. We all make mistakes in our cars. Even the most perfect of driver will end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. I decided to do a 3-point turn the other week, and I misjudged the speed of the bus was coming down the road in the other direction. So, but he was nice and polite, and I apologized as we went along. But it's all about having that. Yeah, put a smile on your face, be apologetic, and make sure that everyone else treats each other nicely.
Exactly. No beeping if someone's doing a 3-point turn or putting them under pressure. And, it's so important. And there's another thing that I think is really important, especially for the younger drivers, is that so Co-op Insurance have got this thing called a T plate. So if you see a driver with a T plate, please be very conscious that this driver is got a black box in their car. So they are basically, everything is being monitored. So they're going to be abiding by every single rule, and that basically will help them with their insurance because they're a younger driver. But if you see a T, or a learner with an L plate, be kind, give them space, don't be up their arse, don't do stupid overtaking maneuvers. It really is a time to check those aggressions, and basically just put them aside for now and let people just get back into the swing of things, because it's been a very, very tough year.
Absolutely. And the report that's come through from Co-op it shows all sorts of areas on this, and it's good food for thought. It might not be you that's got the problem, but certainly take into account others and read this report to find out more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do, because it's worrying that so many people do feel really anxious, because when you get your confidence back, getting in a car gives you so much freedom, and that's something that we have not had for a long time. And being able to stick the tunes on, sing your favorite song as loud and as terribly, like what I do, as you possibly can, and get the wind in your hair and the windows down, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's so brilliant, and it just makes you feel so much better. So I really hope that people can get back to those moments as soon as possibly can.
Yeah, a little step back towards normality, which would be fantastic. The report is COVID and the car. We can find that on the Co-op website.
Yes, on the Co-op Insurance website.
What's the full details for that one?
So you can go on and have a look at all of this survey. It's really, really interesting. It's food for thought. So if you go on to co-op, so that's coopinsurance.co.uk, you'll be able to see it all.
Find all the information there. But Jodie Kidd, racing driver, car fanatic, and it's a sensible driver, I know. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
As we speak, it is Sunday morning and Skye Stuart is out on her weekly walk as part of a mental health awareness campaign. But we're also going to chat about Black Country Fusion too. And she joins me now from East Park. Hello.
Good morning, Jason. You okay?
I'm good. I trust we find you well.
Yeah, I'm really good. It's a lovely morning, isn't it?
It is fantastic. And that you're there enjoying a park bench and not doing the walk at the moment. So you've been a little bit relaxed, which is good. So first of all, tell us about the event you're on at the minute, because I know you've been involved with this for some time.
Yeah, so Get Fit for Mental Wellness is a national charity who basically every Sunday morning they do walks for positive mental wellness. So our Wolverhampton one's just recently launched, and there's walks up and down the country. And what it's about is about getting people out and just giving them the opportunity to talk to people and be around like-minded people, make new friends. And just, you know, it's a hard time at the moment, but we need to turn that into a positive and try and help as many people as we can.
Absolutely. And say the outdoor nature of the walk has allowed it to take place at various times during lockdowns throughout the pandemic, and therefore it's been vitally important to the mental well-being of everyone involved, whether you think you need it or not. Actually just being part of it, whether you help yourself or help somebody else, can make a huge difference, but it will make a difference to you whatever happens. So that is all good news. Where can we go for more information on that one and to join the walk in East Park each week?
So it's Wolverhampton Get Fit for Mental Wellness, or you can join the Get Fit for Mental Wellness community, and that's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, and just go over to there. There's lots of support over there and lots of different ways how you can get involved with the charity, even if you're not from Wolverhampton or surrounding areas.
So plenty to check out there. But meanwhile, Black Country Fusion has got various new events, courses, groups all joining up. So explain a bit more about what's happening over that way.
Yeah, so today is the last day of our season for our development team, who have had an amazing season and just started with the club. So they're playing their last fixture today. We've got a few more weeks left for the Sunday mornings, and then we start Saturdays as well in the new season. So that's a very exciting time. And you know, we've got new managers coming on board with us for our Saturday team to start the non-league ladder, really, and try and get Black Country Fusion out there in Saturday football and hopefully climb up the ladder. So
you're hoping for the FA Cup fairly soon?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a couple of years.
That's the plan. We'll look forward to seeing the name on the trophy. But I mean, there's an awful lot going on. So what are the newest things that you've had of late?
So we've just launched Fusion Coaching and Education, which is a coaching company as well, it's kind of a sister company to Black Country Fusion, where we're offering coaching. You know, sometimes at football clubs, you can't get that one-to-one training, and if you want to enhance your game, just because of the sheer numbers and stuff like that, it's quite hard to get that in-depth training at clubs, and that's no fault of the clubs. That's just the way the system is. So what we do is we break it down into smaller groups and give people that chance to have a little bit more of one-to-one training.
So an opportunity for people to get involved in what's already a well-established organisation with a new wing, which is going to share the love and the skills that are needed to bring the best in coaching. And again, this is all part of the bigger picture of Black Country Fusion, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've always wanted to be part of the community and really push our community participation and give everyone the chance to play football. So, you know, we've got park football coming up for over 50 women, over 50s women, not 50 women at the same time, but over 50s women, over 60s men. We're also going to be doing some projects around mums playing football straight after the school run while you're right next to the park. We're going to put that session on. So there's no excuse why you can't come and join us straight after the school run. Come and join us for a bit of football and to keep fit, really. And that's all in East Park. So we're really looking to build the East Park area, may that be through football or other vital stuff that we need in the area.
Yeah, a bit of a competitive kickabout never hurt anybody, didn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
So all of this can be found on your website and social media. So where do we go for more information?
So you just go on Facebook, we're at Fusion Coaching and Education. On Twitter, it's Fusion Training 5, or you can just go over to www.fusioncoachingandeducation, that's all one word, .com.
Okay, simple as that. And check out what is actually happening. Meanwhile, for now, I'll let you get back to your walk in the park and have a great time doing that, and keep up the good work and everything you do.
Thank you, Jason. See you soon.
Wolverhampton has a number of community champions, including Beverly Knight and Susie Perry, when it comes to making sure we get the best rollout of vaccinations and testing for coronavirus and COVID-19. One of our community champions is Paul Ryder from LGBT Plus Sparkle, who joins me now to tell me more about his role. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. I trust we find you well.
I'm not too bad, thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, and it's always good to have a natter. And normally we're talking about one of your groups and a guest, but this week we're talking all about you.
Yeah.
So what's it like being a community champion then? Because this isn't something that you'd planned when you were setting up LGBT Plus Sparkle.
No, it just gradually fitted into place, because a lot of people don't want the vaccine for various reasons, and I can only go off my own experiences since I had the vaccination, that I had no side effects. I just had an achy arm, I was perfectly fine, and so I'm just encouraging others to have the vaccine, obviously to protect the NHS and to protect their loved ones. As I put it as, some people say you can get COVID even though you have the vaccine. Yes, you still can, but you're not on, as I put it, is you're not on an oxygen. So
we've seen a massive reduction in hospital admissions based on people who've been vaccinated. And the vaccine itself, obviously you're being protected against coronavirus. It is a vaccine, though, which stops COVID-19, which is the dangerous part of having coronavirus, because one's a condition that's created by the actual virus itself. And it's all down to our body's immune reaction to this. Now, everybody will be different, the way in which they react to it. And it is always concerning that there's some of the reasons people give for not actually joining part of the vaccine programme. I've been looking through Facebook, as I do very often in the morning, to check through what's going on in the world. And one of my friends, do you remember Doctor and the Medics? They did Spirit in the Sky a few years ago.
Oh, yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a memory for you. You're not quite old enough to have been around when it actually happened. But Doc from Doctor and the Medics, he's not a real Dr. Clive Jackson. He just mentioned on his timeline how important it is to have the vaccination. And there were people on there saying really weird reasons why they didn't want it. And I still see lots of things on Facebook. People not even believing this virus is real. And I'm sure India would like this whole situation to not be real and to go away. But sadly, what we're seeing around the world, what we have seen in the UK, it just shows you that this is a true situation that we need to do something about. And the best thing we have in our armoury now is this vaccine, which has been thoroughly tested, has been taken by half the population in the UK, with more than 12 million, nearly 13 million people having had a second dose. And the risks are incredibly low, particularly compared to what would happen if you got coronavirus and had full COVID-19.
We're working with Wolverhampton Equality Diversity Partnership, Ethnic Minority Council, as part of Community Champions.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of the things that I was I'm quite a talkative person, as you can tell. I spoke to a member of the community, and they were saying, "Well, I don't want the vaccine because, well, it hasn't taken that long to get a vaccine for COVID, but it's from years and years to get a cancer treatment, you know." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, this is a pandemic. It's affecting everybody. It's totally different. And it's just people are just using lame excuses not to have it.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, I know that you've been out there, you've been vaccinated, you're in your early 30s, and based on your asthma, you've been prioritised to get the vaccination and are grateful for it. It puts you at a lower risk. And what would you say to somebody who was considering not having it? What reason, can you think of any reason why they wouldn't?
Obviously, I'm not medically trained, so I wouldn't be able to tell them. If like they were saying to me, example, like, oh, I don't want this vaccination because I'm on a certain medication, then I'd say to them, well, I can't really answer that, but I'd recommend if you've got any concerns to go to your GP or your pharmacist, if you've got any concerns about, you're unsure about having the vaccine because you're on a certain medication. I'm not medically trained to answer that question, so I'd recommend them speak to a medical professional.
Absolutely, and that's what the community champions are about. It's people who are normal people across the city and able to say, look, I've done this. No or little side effects, and it's having the confidence that you now know you are less likely to spread the disease should you get it and not know you've got it.
You could have COVID and be asymptomatic.
It is asymptomatic, yes. So yeah. you don't have any symptoms. There are no clues. Yet you could still be passing it on, and this is where the importance of testing comes in. And like with all vaccines, all it is doing, it's training your body to react to it if you do get it. So it means you will have fewer problems with it. If you get vaccinated against the flu, which millions of people do every year, all that happens is your body knows how to deal with that particular virus when it arrives. It doesn't stop you getting it, you still get it, but it doesn't do as much damage to your system, and it keeps the number of deaths from flu down. And it gives you your best chance of getting through this. And as I say, this is all part of the programme that's ongoing here, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've got a group meetup Thursday from a doctor talking about the COVID-19 and about certain medication in the LGBT community.
So you're actually finding out from Dr. Carmen Ahmed all about how the different medications interact, and this is particularly prevalent when you're talking about the likes of HIV medication.
Yeah, and also puberty blockers in the trans community. A small percentage have said that they don't want the vaccine. They're scared it's going to affect their medication, so that's why we've got a doctor there around these subjects.
And he can tell them what really would happen rather than just getting hearsay off the internet and beyond. Well, LGBT plus Sparkle meetup every Thursday. Search for the group on Facebook. What's the email address if you do want to get in touch?
LGBTQsparkle@gmail.com.
And you'll be there each Thursday, 2 till 3:30 is your weekly group meetup. Various speakers. We'll be hearing more about the next one very soon. But this week, say, Dr. Carmen Ahmed joining you to chat about the coronavirus vaccine and also to talk generally about health concerns within the LGBT plus community. Paul Ryder, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
That's your lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 619 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.